You ready for a little factor cap?
Do it.
All right, so with the news that Saquon Barkley was tagged along with Pollard and Jacobs, the running back free agent market is drying up quickly. Recent reports indicate that Montgomery is also not expected to return to Chicago. So I asked Factor Cap, the Chicago Bears need to invest draft capital in the position this offseason.
Um, I would say cap. I don't think they need to do it. I think they will. I think it might be smart. Like if the value's there, like I said, I like the guys we have now to be. You know what I mean? Like to that wasn't a problem. That's like the only problem we didn't have. And I don't want to be like to put an emphasis on fixing a problem we didn't have.
I'm gonna say fact because if you go back to the very first episode of this podcast, one of the things that I said was Khalil Herbert is not a feature back in this league, and I stand by it. Yeah, he had a really good yards per clip, 5.2 yards per carry average. That's really, really, really good. One of the best in the league. But something about him and the way he carries that fucking football just really bothers me. I think he benefited a lot from having, maybe he does run the RPO a little bit better with Justin as opposed to David Montgomery. There's a little bit more of a threat with um, with Khalil Herbert, but at the same time, I don't envision him as a running back. Well, he's a really good change of pace back as a running back too. But I really feel like if you have your guy, if you see somebody in the draft like a Jameer Gibbs or I mean even Bajan Robinson, though he's probably going to be picked early first round, somebody who is a playmaker that you can get at a very cheap deal, I think you absolutely take it. Maybe maybe third rounds at
I would
the
be okay with
very
that. I just like I said, I don't want to. It's not a priority. I don't think it should be a priority. I think if, like I said, the best player available, one of those guys falls, or you know what I mean, we get everybody we've done. I don't. I've always said I don't think we get out of this draft without taking a running back to either be Herbert's backup or to be running back number three, because like I said, Emner is not it, and he's not very quality special teams player.
no, De'Arrington Evans was a lot better than Ebner
Yes, he
was,
was much better, and he was okay. Yeah.
and he played, the last couple of games of the season. Number two, Orlando Brown Jr. and Jawan James were not tagged, though reports indicate that Kansas City wants Brown back. I asked Factor Cap, the Bears should forget about Brown and shift their focus to either McGlinchey or James in free agency.
I'll say cap. I don't think they should forget about Brown. Like I said, I think it should be an option. Like I said earlier, I just think we'll end up with him just because he'll be the highest touted one, and we got to give somebody the bag. But I do think, in my head, I said McGlinchey's a priority. You kind of swayed me with James. I didn't know all the non-injury stuff about him. Um, that kind of intrigues me. I do like healthy players. I just think it builds chemistry and camaraderie when, like, like these guys are always going to play. These guys are
Yeah, because
cornerstones of our team. These guys don't sit out of the game.
yeah, because I mean, it's important. You've noticed the last couple of years the Bears have thrown out hundreds of different combinations of offensive linemen. It
Yeah.
seems like because nobody can stay healthy. Even our best offensive lineman last year, besides Braxton Jones, obviously, but Tevin Jenkins was injured a lot. He's been injured a lot. You're hoping he can
He
stay
came in
healthy.
injured, right? Sure, he's never been healthy.
You want these guys to be healthy, and it builds that chemistry on the offensive line. Just being together as a unit, playing a full 17 games. Obviously, you can't really expect five offensive linemen on the same team to play all 17 games,
Yeah.
but the more
She
games you
wants your
play
tackles to
together,
be out there. Honestly, this is just what it is.
yeah,
It's not just the line, it's for Justin, too. It's for your team to know, like, you know what I mean? I know I'm off the line, but they're the lifeblood of the team. And, like, when your guys are out, it's not some third stringer out there who doesn't play. It's like those are the most important guys for the offense. And it's like outside of the quarterback, and you know what I mean? And sometimes even more important, it's like when you have the same two guys, three, four, or five guys, you said it builds confidence in the team. They know, like, oh, when you insert one guy, like you said, they're not every week. We're not gonna all play all 17 games, but it's like when three, four of the five there, and every once in a while we got to sub some guy in to fill a hole. It's just breeds confidence for the team. So, like I said, the Juwan James thing kind of swayed me. I am interested in a cornerstone tackle. He said him and Braxton Jones are going to go out there and be healthy. Yeah, sometimes they're not the best, but consistency and chemistry is much more important on the offensive line and trust and all of that. And I think I think that's more of the Bears' problem. They don't have coaching. They don't have the culture for it. And they never keep guys long enough to build any kind of camaraderie. Like they suck really bad. And then we just get on this fucking carousel where we're just mixing and matching guys. Like I feel like our whole career is like Olin Kreutz. I know you're talking about him. It's like he was all right. He was just a tough guy who played every game for the fucking Bears. Like he wasn't the best center in the league.
Yes, he was
At some point, but like not his whole career.
Olin Kreutz is a future Hall of Famer.
That is it. Like, you could be a future Hall of Famer and not have been the best center in the league. He just played a really long career.
I think if you're a Hall of Famer, you have to be considered one of the best at your position for a certain period of time in the league. I don't think you really.
I think it's a longevity award for the most part. And a sort like
Olin Kreutz was pretty damn good.
I'm not saying he sucked. I'm just saying I think he was just on our team for a long time and we built chemistry, and that's why our O-line was good, not because of anyone's individual ability. He became the leader.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. He kind of kept.
I don't think he was sucked, but he was more of a mauler. But like I said, when you get all the play together, we all look good, and when the center's the leader, he'll get the recognition, and I think he set the tone for the team. And I think we need more guys like that.
And I told you this report earlier. That's why I like the fact that the Bears' offensive line, as a unit, is actually working out with Olin Kreutz right now at his training facility. I think that's awesome. We talked about this one a little bit earlier, so this one will be quick. So Lamar Jackson was tagged with a non-exclusive tag. The franchise, it appears they're still far apart from a deal. Teams have come out and said that they will not pursue the former MVP even while being quarterback needy. So I asked Factor Cap, the Lamar Jackson news will hinder Chicago's ability to trade the #1 overall pick until the issue is done.
I'll say Cap, like I said earlier. I don't think it's going to hinder us. I'm sure it's a small hiccup. Maybe one or two teams who are in on it might back off. But like I said, I thought for the #1 pick, we're trading it to Houston or Indy. I don't think this scares either of them away. For maybe our second trade back, maybe I guess but I don't think Houston or Indy is in on Lamar. I don't know why. Maybe they are, but they're just keeping it quiet. There just hasn't been any rumblings. I think they should be. I'm not talking shit about Lamar, but I just don't think that's really going to stop us from trading our pick to Houston or to Indy.
I'm kind of on the fence about it. I don't know anymore with this. Like it's such a weird situation and with such a weird scenario.
It is. There's never been anything like this where an MVP 25?
26.
It's 26. Is he 20? This was his 5th year? Yeah, 26 or 4th year. Damn, yeah, there's never been anything like that. I can't think. Yeah, who's the best free agent, like actual free agent quarterback? Because that's basically what the non-exclusive tag is. I mean, they can match it, but he can go anywhere. Like he's on the open market. Like the fucking an MVP quarterback never goes in the open market.
No, not at 26.
Maybe at 32, they were like, all right, go find 3 teams we'll trade you to, like something like that. But never like, hey, just go find whatever the fuck you want.
It's insane.
I do think, like, I don't know if collusion is the word, but it also is I think it's a good tactic for Baltimore too, because they're like, fine, go out there, you tell us, like, let everybody else tell us what you're worth then if we're wrong, and then we'll just fucking match it. If everybody's saying they'll give you $50 million and $300 guaranteed, I guess we just have to match it. Like, but if nobody else is willing to give you that, then why the fuck will we do it?
Exactly.
This was weird for Baltimore for me because they have a rep of being really player loyal. Like no player ever badmouths the Baltimore organization. That's just not normally something they have happen. I think Lamar backed himself in the corner by not playing this year. I think he really would have put pressure on them if he would have went out there and played a little hurt. I mean, and won a couple more games, and then he would have just fully had the fan base behind him. But half the fan base is torn. They're mad that he didn't play in those games. They really are. Even if he was hurt, that's just life. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? The player, like, to this day, Bears players have to defend Jay Cutler, and his fucking knee was torn to shreds, and he played a half with it fucked up. And to this day, I know like people in person who are like, I hate Jay Cutler for sitting out that game. Like, seriously hate him. Like, why couldn't he just finish it? Like, and like I've seen Brian Urlacher on multiple occasions defend Jay Cutler. Like, he was actually hurt. Like, and I'd be the first fucking person to come up here and say, like, I have no, you know what I mean, allegiance to him. So I think Lamar kind of he again, and it's hard for me to tell you, like, oh, go put your body at risk and you're going to get hurt and lose all the money. But sports is a gamble, and I think if the city would have been rallied behind him, if he went out there, and let's say you still lose to Joe Burrow, but you lose, you play a good game and you lost, who cares? But you fall for your team. They're a bad team too. He carries them. They're better than the Bears, but there's still no wide receivers. You know what I mean? A slightly above average O-line, fucking patchwork running backs, and their defense was hurt to shit. So it's like, I think he kind of did himself a disservice. I know he didn't want to. I know he wanted to kind of be the diva and be like, oh, I'm like these other quarterbacks. But if I was him, I would have went out there, won, you know what I mean, tried to beat Joe Burrow in that playoff game and go shot for shot with him and been like, okay, you fucking owe me. And that would have shown all the other teams too, I think. And the other teams wouldn't be as hesitant either. I think even in the back of my, I think he sat out of games he could have played in. Based on everything that's unfolding right now. I'm not saying every single game he wasn't hurt. I'm sure some of them he was too hurt to play, but he missed like 7. I just think 2 or 3 of them he could have played. If they would have signed him, he would have played. And
No, I agree.
And he didn't. And that's his right to do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just saying, like, that's what everybody's thinking. And I'm sure the fans are thinking that too. And if you don't got them behind you pressuring the front office to do that, they feel liberated enough to be like, fine, the fans aren't that mad. You know what I mean? We're the Ravens. We'll be okay. We'll find somebody else. We got a great organization. And I do think, though, that is one of the few places where they can feel confident that, like, fine, we'll get another quarterback. We'll get Jimmy G for a couple of years. We'll be all right. They weren't going to win the Super Bowl with Lamar anyway, sadly.
All right, so the Chicago Bulls continue to suck. They keep losing their way to try for that play-in spot, but let's just face it, it's not going to happen. Zach Lavine has been on a tear, though, recently scoring. However, it has not translated to wins, which is more important. So I ask Factor Cap, Zach Lavine's contract will go down as the worst signing in franchise history.
Yeah, I'll say facts. I don't care what kind of tear he goes on at this point. He's just not it. I don't know. He just doesn't have he doesn't play with the energy, it feels like to me. The game's on right now. Actually, I'll probably watch it after we're done with this. But he just doesn't play with any intensity. He's not a two-way player. He's not a playmaker. He's just like he's got range. He does. He could get buckets. He gets to attack the basket, but that's just really it. He doesn't really play winning basketball. And I just think he'd be much better as like a 2 to like LeBron or somebody, like a team where like he had to like shoulder any of the burden and just go out there and ball. But I don't even think he doesn't even know that about himself because he was fucking pouting when DeMar was cooking.
But they were playing better as a cohesive unit
with Lonzo
when he
there.
was number 2 behind DeMar, and when Lonzo was able to distribute the basketball.
Lonzo's a pure point guard who probably could feel it. Like I could see it myself. You know what I mean? I don't want me to be a guru, but like I could just see him out there. He's not playing on energy. I know he's mad because he ain't getting the ball. Lonzo knew that, so he knew like, all right, I'm gonna keep it away from DeMar this next couple of plays. We're gonna let Lavine get off so he doesn't get in the mood and he feels involved. And I think DeMar doesn't have that in his head. When he's going, like he's like, can't nobody stop me. And I'm not passing the ball to Zach Lavine. Who is he? And, I mean, DeMar is a borderline Hall of Famer. Zach Lavine, like you said, is gonna go down one of the worst signings ever. Like, so the Zach Lavine is just very disappointing. When we started this, I said I've always harped they shouldn't have signed him.
They had a statistic on ESPN Radio today on the Waddle and Sylvie show where they were talking about Zach Lavine in terms of an NBA player with 500 games played has a career win percentage of 384, which is the worst in the NBA, like active player wise.
Well, who have a max?
No, the
just
worst
in general.
Yes, with 500 games played.
That's
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yes.
Wow, I'm gonna look
And
that up.
here's another fun fact. Nikola Vujicic, number 7 on that list. So if you have two players who career win percentage wise, granted, Vucevic was on bad Orlando Magic teams, but you have two players that are, two of your three big three players have career percentage, career winning percentage less than 400. What did you expect? It's just,
The 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 Vucevic trade is going to go down as one of the worst trades the team's ever done, if not the worst trade.
yep.
And Lavine is most definitely the worst signing they've ever had. It's not even close. The Bulls don't ever do business like this. They don't ever give nobody the bag. I always thought they should have signed and traded him. Like, I think he fit in well on Dallas. I think fuck if that's what they were giving up for Kyrie, they probably could have got the same thing for Lavine, and I would have took fucking Dory Finney-Smith and fucking all them picks for fucking Zach Lavine. He is cheeks. Like he's kids. It's disappointing.
Last one. Mike Clevenger's MLB investigation is officially over. The MLB and the MLBPA not finding enough evidence, as well as the police not being able to find enough evidence. Charges have been dropped completely in all facets of the case. So I ask, Factor Cap, with this news, Clevenger cemented himself as the 5th starter in the rotation.
I would say fact. I think he did already. I mean, a lot of these cases too, we talked about it before, and I don't want to harp too much on it because I don't know too much, and I'll be the first to admit that these are weird things where so I know it's touchy. If it was my sister, I'd be pissed, but it's not my sister, so I don't care. And I can admit that. But if all the charges are dropped, why not? I mean, you need very small proof in a lot of these things like that for them to at least take it to trial. They didn't even go through any of it, which makes me think that it's all he said, she said, and maybe he did it. I will say I don't care if he did it or not. She's not dead. His baby's fine. Nobody's seriously injured. I don't care about their fucking marital problems. So that's what I meant. So yes, he could play baseball. If the police still don't find him guilty, I want this in all of sports. If the police do an investigation and don't find them guilty, I think that sports should stay out of it. I'm all for, hey, you get a ticket and it was only a speeding ticket and we're still going to suspend you because it's bad image. But if they get found innocent in a court of law, who are you? That really annoys me when we're playing the morality police, because it's how you feel that day or the mood of the society in that moment where you're going to make this decision. And like I said, if let's say he got a slap on the wrist from the police and he didn't go to jail, but they just gave him court supervision or something, and then you still wanted to suspend him 50 games, I'm all for that. If he got found guilty, he did it, but he got some bullshit, I'm rich sentencing and got off easy, I'm all for it if he was guilty and there was proof that he did something. But to say that's giving some young lady too much power to be like, all right, well, if you don't do exactly what I say, I'm just going to say you did something to me. And even if they don't find any proof, I'm not going to get in any trouble. I'm going to leave scot-free and your life's going to be ruined. I don't think that's fair. And it sucks that it's a weird he said, she said, but that gives people too much power. And girls are evil just like dudes are. They will use whatever they can to get ahead in life, just like some dude would do.
Yeah, I'm going to say facts. They signed him to be the 5th starter. There was a little bit of a hindrance with this. But now that everything's clear, like you said, if he's cleared by the police and he's cleared by MLB's own investigation, I don't see an issue with it. I mean, that's just that. That's now that it's done and over with, and now it's done and over with.
Yes, it's done and over with, leaving the past in the past. And like I said, let's play. It's about baseball. I don't care. If these guys we got to